Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
After that win last night, how exciting is it for you to continue making history at the University of Louisville?
Um, yeah, I was asked that question after the game yesterday on the radio, and I think there's a time and a place for that. Now is not the time. Um, there'll be a time in the off season when the dust settles a little bit, and I always say get above the trees and be able to kind of look back and reflect. But now's not the time. I mean, we are in um, we're in the gauntlet right now, coming down the stretch, tough games, and we got to finish. So our sole focus is on a really talented, well coached, athletic, um, dangerous team in Florida State next Saturday.
And one quick follow-up, what challenges do you see them presenting to you guys?
Florida State, everyone under the sun. I mean, they play as hard as any team in the country. They disrupt defensively as well as any team in the country. They force you to kind of abandon kind of your truths offensively, like what you are and who you are. That's, I think, the heart and soul of kind of their scheme is absolute disruption, and they do a great job of it. Offensively, they attack you relentlessly, put foul pressure on you. They play very hard. I said this the first time we played them. I was in the league as an assistant years and years ago when Coach Hamilton first came in the league. And his teams have always been so well schooled, disciplined. They always play so hard. And this year's edition is no different. And I know he's on the call right before me, but the last time we played him, he had made the announcement that he's not going to return next year. And he's just a legend. He's an institution in coaching. He's so respected by his peers for his longevity, for the success that he's had, and then the class with which he's gone about, the way he's operated, the way he's coached, the way he's ran his program over the last couple decades.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, our next question is from Matthew McGavick.
Pat, it's been almost 2 months since you guys first faced Florida State. So when you kind of break down the film, is there anything they're doing differently now as opposed to when you started breaking film on them during their first meetup back in December?
Yeah, so obviously with us not having a midweek game, we got on the plane after de-icing and all that stuff about well after midnight. My sole focus immediately after a game is just to tear apart last night's game. We do a very, very, very thorough self-scout, and that's what I was doing until I fell asleep at the end of the plane ride, got home, and then finished that type of stuff up this morning. And obviously with, like I said, a longer week of preparation, that's been my sole focus. And then, I'll turn the page to Florida State, our game a couple months ago. And then, obviously their recent games as we prepare for the end of the week here mid-afternoon later today.
Next question from Kip Coons.
Yeah, Pat, you touched on it right there. What will you do differently this week with the the bye week? Basically, you're not, you don't have the Tuesday or Wednesday game. Do you change your approach, and does this come at a good time for you? February seems to be a time when teams are in need of a break. Is this arriving at a good time for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always call it the advantage of no choice. So just the fact that we have a full week, we have no choice. We got to make the most of it. I always think it's really important to get a couple major things accomplished. One is, to recover from a lot of the bangs, nicks, bruises, hurts that everybody has. So you have to take advantage of the additional rest time, first of all, and get the guys that are banged up healthy. But, you know, we focus on us at the beginning of the week. And then we'll keep our normal routine in terms of specific game preparation for Florida State later in the week for the last several days. I always think there's a big, you're at risk at times of over preparing if you start too early for your opponent. So we really go back to preseason mode and just focus on our execution, our stuff. You know, I think that's the case in tournament play in the NCAA tournament. We're also used to having like a 2-day turnaround to prepare for games. And then sometimes when you end up having 10 days and you focus on preparation and scouting for that game, it's kind of information overload for your guys and ends up being diminishing returns, if you know what I mean. So, you know, that we'll have a off day today, and then, you know, how we construct the rest of the week is us early in the week, them later in the week. And I always think our staff does a good job with that.
If I could just follow up on that, Pat, you seem to be in a good place right now. You've got a nice winning streak going, and you're getting more attention nationally. Have your players dared to even discuss, hey, you know, we're looking at an NCAA bid. What do we need? Are they kind of getting excited about getting back, you know, to that platform?
We never, ever talk about that, ever. I say it all the time. Our sole focus is the most important thing in the history of our program, which is the next thing we do. And I've said that time and time again. And it's just about today's off day, getting our academics in order, recovering, doing the normal post-game day after recovery. And then, you know, we get back to practice on Tuesday. It's challenging our guys to have unbelievable excellence in our weight session and our film session and our pre-practice walkthrough, our practice. And just we're so process oriented. Those things, those outcomes will take care of themselves down the road if we just stay focused on the thing right in front of us. You know, we can't do anything about those right now. The only thing we can do is try to maintain our daily excellence.
Coach, our last question for you from this morning comes from C.L. Brown.
Pat, earlier in the season, when you guys were struggling from 3-point range, you said that was something that you weren't worried about. It would come back around. You're now shooting 37% in conference play. What was it that you saw or that you knew back then that kind of played out?
It's the same thing I said back then. We hunt great. And if hunting great means hunting high percentage shots, great shots that we really value. And when we generate those, I sleep like a baby, whether they go in or not. You can't be on the whims of makes or misses. You have to be process oriented about generating great offense. And I told you back then that, you know, I'm such a big believer that things come back to the mean, right? That you are what the back of your bubble gum card says you are. And, you know, it's like, you know, I'm a Reds fan, and if Ellie De La Cruz, you know, doesn't hit a home run for the first 5 weeks of the season, guess what? He's going to end up with 36. So just stay true to what we're doing. Our guys get their shots up every single day. I think we're as good of a gym dude program as any program in the country. That's guys that are committed to working on their craft. And as long as we're generating great and we're working on our game outside the normal practice hours, shots are going to fall, and they have.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.